A Frenchman screaming ballet actor went on a stabbing rampage at a backpackers' hostel in North Queensland, killing a 21-year-old British woman and leaving the British man, 31, fighting for his life in hospital. A third man, an Australian, received non-life-threatening wounds and was released from hospital soon after the attack on Tuesday night, police said. The attacker, 29, also stabbed the dog to death during the frenzy that was witnessed by a room full of more than 30 people at Shelley's Backpackers on 9th Street in Hostel, about 300 kilometers north of the Queensland capital of Brisbane. A woman, who said she was friends with the British victim, said he was wounded when he went to the aid of the dead woman as she was being attacked. Queensland State Deputy Police Commissioner Steve Gillespie told a news conference on Wednesday the attacker twice screamed the Islamic praise for God during the frenzy. Initial inquiries indicate that comments which may be construed as being of an extremist nature were made by the alleged offender, Deputy Commissioner Gillespie said. It is alleged that the suspect used the phrase ballet actor during the attack and was arrested by police. Whilst this information will be factored into the information, we are not ruling out any motivations at this early stage, whether they be political or criminal. We've had 3 people stabbed and 1 dead, deceased, 1 critically injured. It's a shocking attack by any standards. A neighbor named only as Ray, who resides across the street, told the ABC blood-curdling screams around the time of the attack. It's a very quiet town. We heard the screams. I was terrified. It wasn't very pleasant at all. I'll never forget it, he said. A sleepy little town like this, you don't expect things like that to happen. Emily Waters, the British woman who previously stayed at the hostel, said she was horrified by the attack. All my friends literally had to stand and watch the poor girl get murdered. I literally can't believe it, she wrote on Facebook. I can't stop watching the news. I've just been told the guy who has done this is a guy who I lived with there for the whole time. To think I spent time talking to him and working with him. The Frenchman, who had been in the country the temporary visa since March, was also caught on police body camera shouting ballet actor as he was being taken into custody. Police were investigating if the stabbing was terror-related, as the alleged attacker, who was traveling with tourists from France and Luxembourg, was being assessed for mental health issues and drug use. He was taken to Townsville Hospital and is being questioned by police after more than 30 people witnessed the knife attack. No charges have been laid yet. The Australian Federal Police, who have the responsibility for investigating terror attacks, are also involved in the homicide investigation. At this stage, there is no indications to indicate other than that the fact he was acting alone, JFK Commander Sharon Cowden said. Where is Hostel? Hostel is a small town in northern Queensland about 100 kilometers south of the regional centre of Townsville, far from the glistening resort-dotted coast near the Great Barrier Reef. The town, with a population of just 3,000 people, is a hard-scrabble agricultural working town. The region is dotted with cheap hostels that house backpackers who head to the region for seasonal fruit-picking work. Sugar cane plantations and mango crops are common across the region, and backpackers earn around $21 an hour for laboring work between March and December. Albeit it is a shocking incident and the community should remain vigilant. He was unlawfully in Australia and at this stage he was not known to authorities. Police say the man did not appear to have any ties to Islamic State. Both the Deputy Commissioner and the Commander expressed their condolences to the families affected by the attack. A third person, a 46-year-old local man, was taken to hospital with a stab wound to the left but has since been released. The British High Commission is flying staff to North Queensland. We are working with local authorities and providing support to the families after 1 British national was killed and another critically injured in an incident in Australia, a spokeswoman told the Townsville Bulletin. Our thoughts are with the families at this difficult time. Superintendent Ray Rovder said police were confronted by a terrible scene when they arrived at the hostel. But both officers acted tremendously and ensured the safety of other persons at the venue, he said. Such Rovder said the officers asked the alleged attacker, who had sustained injuries to his arms, to lay on the ground before taking him into custody. Investigators have the knife believed to have been used in the attack. Officers have been in contact with British consular staff. The French national is expected to be charged over the attack. Dean Rynick, manager of the nearby Malpass Hotel, said tourists tended to stay in the sugarcane and fruit and veg farming season. They seem to stay there at the hostel a fair time. Out here, they'll stay for the whole season, Mr. Morinick told Daily Mail Australia. Local Gito Milani, an 80-year-old retired farmer, has lived in the area all his life and heard loud sirens as he went to bed about 11 p.m. It's the first thing anything's happened like this here in Home Hill, Mr. Milani, who lives 3 blocks away from the scene, said. The hostel has got a real good reputation. Mr. Milani said the hostel organized fruit picking and vegetable picking opportunities. He said the area was swarming with police and TV cameras.